to go ahead and bring up is going to be the Utah passing attack. Now, there's a lot that we need to talk about. I would just say, Brian, I'll let you go here in a minute, but for me, the Utah passing attack is just kind of concerning from head to toe. There's a lot. Like I said, I don't want to be too negative, but there is a lot of concerning numbers when you watch this Utah passing attack. Obviously, I don't think Bryson Barnes played very well this weekend. I think he held on to the ball too long a lot of the time. I also think there was times where the receivers have been poorly all season. It's really tough for me to say too much good about this passing attack. One thing that I think is funny is I've been super critical of this offensive line all year. And you know, you never get perfect offensive line play, but I've been critical all year of the offensive line. And it felt like every time I bring it up, people would give me pushback and say, no, it's not a bad offensive line. And funny enough, I think this might be our offensive line's highest PFF graded week, weirdly enough. And that's the week that all the Utah fans are going in and talking about how bad the offensive line is. It's like, hey, have you guys been watching the rest of the year? Because I'm not saying it's been terrible, but this is not the first sign of offensive line struggles. But seriously, there's play calling concerns. I mean, I really got to be honest. Sometimes I'm just wondering what we're seeing. I really feel like it comes out in a really big way when you watch Utah play Oregon and you see Oregon's ability to just Bo Nix gets the ball, like he claps, the center hikes the ball, boom, within half a second, that ball is out of his hand and it is over to the sideline for a bubble screen or something like that. Something that just gets the offense going. I mean, you know, when Oregon hits the field that one of those first 5 plays is a bubble screen or a wide receiver screen. Like it is the bread and butter for the past 15 years of this Oregon offense. It is the RPO game is clean. It's tough to watch that. And then you watch the other side of the ball. You watch Utah just not able to get anything going throwing the ball. I would say there's going to be a lot of criticism of Bryson Barnes, and justified, right? It is justified. I don't think Bryson Barnes had a good game. But I would say he felt like there wasn't a ton of help around him. There were plays where Vele was getting wide open, and Vele actually had a pretty decent day considering all the factors. But the offensive line was breaking down. The play calling felt pretty dry when it comes to passing the ball. The offensive line was not pass blocking well. It felt like they were consistently getting guys in Bryson Barnes' face. You know, and I'm sure part of that was our inability to run the ball. But I would just say when it comes to throwing the ball, Utah's passing attack is concerning. I know Cam's not in, guys, but it is weird and a little disturbing how much we are continually struggling to throw the ball. And I felt really good after USC. But then right after USC gives up 49 points to Cal. So it's kind of like, I don't know where I'm at right now with this offense. It is tough to be too optimistic about what we're seeing on offense, especially in the passing attack. Brian, how are you feeling about the passing attack?
Yeah, it seems kind of like Utah was an amazing seller of snake oil the last 2 games playing Cal and USC. It is what it is, right? I mean, what else do we have to work with? Give Bryson a ton of credit. I mean, we can't just blame it all on Bryson Barnes, right? The kid has put his blood, sweat, and tears out on this field. He just obviously he's not as talented as a Power 5 level starting quarterback, and it shows. I mean, we've kind of hidden that in certain situations throughout the year, but it shows. I mean, when it really comes down to it against a tough defense, we just don't quite have what it takes. And I mean, I don't know what else more there is to say because we don't have anything else besides maybe Brandon Rose returning. you know, and I don't want to just kick Bryce into the curb, but if Brandon Rose is showing a lot of promise in practice in the upcoming weeks, you know, probably not a bad idea to put him in, because it's not throwing away the season, right? I mean, we're still 6-2. I'm not saying we just test out some younger guys to see what they got. That's not it at all. It's if he can do a better job at the quarterback position, then I think we would love to see that. He has a ton of arm talent. You know, I just don't know where he's at. Nobody does, because it's so secretive. But you know, that's something to maybe look forward to. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Nobody really knows, but that would be something that could possibly kickstart our offensive passing attack. We just got to make quicker decisions, and we got to have. I haven't been a fan of the play calling. The play calling is not helping our passing attack either. So that doesn't suit us well when we can expect a stacked box, but then we're not going to try to expose the middle of the field. So, I mean, that is the whole point of running the ball, right? To draw these linebackers and safeties in so we can open up the middle of the field, and we're not exposing it. So that needs to change. We need some quick hitters over the middle to really just basically alleviate a lot of the pressure that the front is facing.
Yeah, and I want to follow up a little more, talk about the Utah passing attack. I am a little concerned about the play calling. Just to recap, about a year ago, 9 months ago, 8 months ago, something like that, there was a lot of hype around the idea of Andy Ludwig possibly going to Notre Dame. And I remember when that hype came out, I made a comment that Andy Ludwig is good, but not great, right? And there were people with pitchforks and torches at my front door, not literally, but on Twitter, they damn near were, just freaking out that I would make that comment. And I just want to point something out, and then I'm going to ask you to comment on it, Brian. But let's think about it. Charlie Brewer, Nate Johnson, Bryson Barnes, Brandon Rose, Mac Howard, Cam Rising, all these guys have opportunities within this QB room. And for sure, a guy like Mac Howard, maybe some of those guys aren't as developed as you might think. Oh, Dakota says he remembers that video where I talked about Andy Ludwig. People were not happy. And but I'm the only one of that group that can make this offense work is Cam Rising. I also like the thing that's concerning for me is that Cam Rising plays a real different style of football. It's real like backyard football-esque, where it's like make plays outside of structure. And I just, Brian, I want to get your thoughts, because I'm becoming a little concerned. Like, how many quarterbacks do we have to see week after week not able to make this offense work before it does become like, hey, like maybe we have a real problem here?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point, because you mentioned all those names, and that's pretty much every quarterback post Tyler Huntley, right? I mean, yep. He was one that could make it work. Cam Rising came in, and it just seems like this offense is suited for him. Can we not develop a little bit different offensive scheme for these other guys that, you know, and put them in positions to succeed? I don't know exactly what that looks like. I think a lot of it is getting the ball out of their hands a lot more quickly. I think that would help. You know, not being so predictable on offense. I mean, when you run the first two plays between the tackles, and then have a very, very predictable third and long passing situation, you're not putting anybody in a position for success. So, you know, what can we do early in the possession, or the first and second downs? instead of just running the ball and being predictable, what can we do to put these quarterbacks in a better position where the defense doesn't know exactly what's going to happen? I mean, I can watch a game and just tell you every play almost. I mean, it's that bad. I feel like, you know, a lot of people that are watching this are probably in agreement with that. So I don't know what it takes. It takes a change of mentality in the play calling. You know, I don't know what they're seeing. You know, they obviously are seeing things differently. They're coordinators and coaches on the sidelines, but we got to try something different, right?
No, for sure. And I'm not even saying 100. Like, just so you guys know, I would love to be wrong and find out that Ludwig is the guy to lead us to countless great quarterbacks. And I'm not even saying Ludwig is the problem. I've heard stuff behind the scenes where Witt is like super turnover focused and QBs get scared to let it rip a little bit. Also, I don't believe we have a QB coach, and that could be part of the problem. All I'm saying is it does seem to be some sort of problem within how we develop and how we coach our quarterbacks, that there is no one except Cam Rising that has succeeded in this offense since Tyler Huntley left. I do think we see some concern there, right? Definitely some problems.